Hey everybody, it's Jenny Castello, your friendly neighborhood librarian and science teacher, and I'm here to talk to you about how to use MyBib to make an awesome bibliography. So, bibliography is an organized, formatted record of the sources that you've used to support some original work of your own. Make your bibliography before you start a project, and we're going to be using a service called MyBib to build your bibliography. So MyBib is not the same as EasyBib. Previously, you might have used EasyBib. You'll also see it pop up on lots of our databases or even some other articles you might find somewhere else on the interwebs that there'll be a link for, hey, cite this using EasyBib. Not the same. We're going to recommend that you use MyBib. It's super easy. So to find MyBib, there's two places to go. One way you can get there is from the Northurston High School Library Canvas homepage. That's where I go because it's got all the things you need in one place. Or you can go directly to mybib.com. So I'm going to go ahead and click here because I already saved the link because, I was planning it. So when you get there, they're trying to help you out. But first thing, a couple things that you're going to want to do. So let's make sure everybody can find MyBib. So I'm going to go to Canvas, right? You might in your dashboard have the Northurston High School Library as a page right here. Oh, look at that. Down here, it says MyBib, and I can click on this. There's also a tutorial video. You can also be in one of your other classes. So let's say that I'm actually in this current class, and I'm looking on my left side navigation. You might see NTHS Library as an enabled link. Same thing, takes you to the Northurston High School Library page. MyBib is down below right here. Okay. So 3 things to do when you get to MyBib. No matter what, log in with your STU account. If for some reason it tells you you don't have one, there's a little register button at the bottom you can click. I'll show you in a second. You're going to make a project, give it a name so it actually can save your work for you, and then leave the MyBib tab open while you're doing your work on your project. That way you've always got that bibliography building and it's easy to drop citations in there. So I'm going to log in. So here I am. Up here in the upper right corner it says login. I'm going to click sign in with Google. And then make sure that, like how things do, they sometimes talk to each other, make sure it's the right Google address. So yay, I'm signed in. So here we go. I've got this whole blank space. I'm going to start a new project, and I'm going to give my new project a name, Myths of Awesome. You should probably name yours after whatever you are specifically researching, whether it's a Greek goddess or a Greek god or whatever part of your literary history you're examining here, okay? So now I have this project right here, and this is the one that I'm going to be able to add stuff to, okay? So now I'm going to leave this tab open, and I'm going to continue with my work. I've got a project started and ready to go. So for this particular project, there are 4 recommended resources for you. First is going to be World Book, which is one of our library databases. Gale in Context High School, that's another database. Both of them deliver very different types of results, so I'll show you those and how to cite from them. Theoi.com, which is a rad website. So we'll be able to look at how you cite things from the web. And then books from the library, especially if you're looking for pictures. Sometimes you can find something that's printed in a book that's not available on the internet, so it's going to be better than what you might be finding elsewhere. Okay, so those are our 4 recommended resources. So let me make my little pitch about databases first. So a database is a published collection or a collection of published things. We're talking excerpts from books, sometimes a whole book, newspaper articles, magazine articles, peer-reviewed journals, scientific papers, all sorts of things that are published and usually are behind a paywall, right? You have to subscribe to a magazine to be able to get it, to read one of the articles in it. You have to buy the book or check it out from your library to be able to get an excerpt from the middle. So these are things that cost money to make, and so they're not freely available on the internet. Now, a couple good things happen because of this paywall that's there. So first, in order for something to be evaluated that way, it means it's accurate. It's been verified by independent evaluators. It's been peer-reviewed if it's a research paper. It's been published. So that means a team of editors and a company had to agree, we're going to put our name on this and print it. So our credit is on the line here. It's way more reliable of a resource than the average thing you're going to find on the internet. Okay. The other thing that's cool about a database is it's been curated for you. Okay. It's a collection of articles, but it's not just all articles that have ever existed. So someone builds a database and builds their own search algorithms to find resources from that database based on what you, the user, are going to need. Unlike when you Google search something and you're just going to get whatever the internet's going to spit back at you based on the most likely hits or clicks or who's, paid the most. So this is a great way to get resources, is to use one of these databases. Okay? So there's several great databases. The easiest way to get to them is from that North Thurston High School Library Canvas page. I still have my tab open up here, so I'm just going to click over there. You'll see it right up here at the top, NTHS Research Databases. When I click on it, there's going to be this beautiful glossy window right here that's going to show you all of the main databases. So I recommended WorldBook. This is one of the databases you'll use today. And then one of the specific Gale databases. We have lots of different databases in Gale, so I'll show you how to find the Gale in Context High School in just a second. Okay? So we're going to pull up some examples, and I'm going to show you how you're going to cite them and put them into your MyBib bibliography. So let's start with that WorldBook. So back here in my databases, I'm going to click on WorldBook. So there's a bunch of things in here, but WorldBook Advanced, this is the one that you're using, all right? This is where their best articles are, especially written for the high school level. WorldBook is an encyclopedia. When I was a kid, it was a thing that got published in big giant volumes that you maybe had in your house, and the library had several different versions of. So these are foundational informational articles. They're not opinions. They're not about current events. They're written about information that is stable and foundational to understanding other things. So let's say I'm going to look for Poseidon. Dude, spelled it right on my first try. Can I just be proud of myself as a science teacher, you guys? I've come so far. So when I search for Poseidon in here, you'll see I get 31 different encyclopedia articles. So these are going to be things that are going to help me. You'll notice that these must be related to Poseidon, but I'm going to click on this first one because I'm trying to find out things about Poseidon, and here's Poseidon. So there's a big giant article that's right here. Okay, it starts with a beautiful picture. One of the most clothed pictures of lots of these Greek people that, I appreciate. And then there's an article here which you can have it read aloud to you. So you can read this article yourself, but it also will read aloud to you. And it's not very long. I'm one of those people that I kind of like to know what I'm getting into before I start reading. So I'm just sort of checking it out, what it is. This is a basic definition and description of Poseidon. Who was the guy? All right. So if this article is useful to me, then I'm going to choose to cite it, okay? So WorldBook makes it really easy for you. On the bottom, they actually have the citations already printed for most things. So you'll see here that this MLA is the format that I'm pretty sure you guys are using. I can actually copy and paste this, just this right here, into my bibliography. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to come back over here to my bib, and I'm going to add this citation. Now, because I already have this citation formatted for me, I'm going to come over here to More and choose Write or Paste Citation. That gives me a place to literally click Paste. There it is. And it gives me a little preview. And when it looks exactly like it does at the bottom of the article right there. So, and I'm going to click Save. And now, woohoo, I added something to my bibliography right here. So this is nicely saved for me in my Myths of Awesome bibliography so that I'm ready to add more and it won't get lost. Okay. So That's how we can get an article. Let's say I really like this picture though, like I'm going to use it somehow in my in what I'm doing here. So I may want to cite the picture that's here. So you'll notice that if I clicked on that little triangle down there, it opened up the caption for this, and there's a link that says cite, and it offers me the same thing. An image is different than textual information. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my MLA right there, copy the same thing, pop over to MyBib, blammo. I'm going to add a new citation up here. I'm going to go to more. I'm going to write and paste because it was already formatted for me, so this time I don't have to do this. All right, there we go. It put it in alphabetical order for me right now, too. How nice, okay? So, when I was a student, I had to build my own citations, right? We had to learn the formats, we had to write these, and like lots of people, you can look at your teacher now and see if they nod when, you go over this. I took immense pride in knowing how to accurately cite all sorts of things in multiple formats by the time I was a real scientist. But the truth is, we use computers to do this now. It's a lot like you having your calculator do a sine or cosine or a logarithm or a square root for you. You don't have to work it out by hand. You can learn why it makes sense, why it's real, why it's useful, and then you can use a tool. This is the nature of progress. So what your citation does here, right, is it tells me who wrote that source, so I can verify the author. It tells me the name of it, so if I was going to go look for it myself, what the name of it is, where it is, and then because we're accessing these databases online, it also includes the date, because online information changes. So this is a really critical part of a citation, especially in the day and age of digital information, right? Okay, back to what we were doing. So those are some examples from World Book. Let's go ahead and look back and now take a look at Gale in context, okay? So I still have my tab for the databases open over here. So I'm going to go back to the main screen there, and I'm going to look for Gale resources over here. And you'll notice that there's these general Gale databases, and the top one right here, Gale in Context High School. All right, Gale in Context High School. So here you go. So now we're going to use our same, so I'm looking for Poseidon. Look at that. There's some novels related. No, I'm looking for the guy. I want to know about him. So here we go. So what comes up are, first, an encyclopedia article, very much like the World Book one we just read. So the first thing on top is this reference resources. Down below, though, you'll see that there's more resources. No, research is reading. So lots of this is text. It's not all pretty and glossy. So there's featured content. This means the editors of this database, the people who have cultivated these resources said, you know what, these are great articles. Put a star by these. If someone's learning about Poseidon, these are great ones for them to start with. Okay. So over here, you'll see a couple different articles. So this one down here says citation only. So this is a citation that, let's say you were going to get this text from some other library elsewhere, you'd be able to send a citation to them. But let's say that we take this first one. The depth of Poseidon, an ancient and powerful world that reaches back more than 2 millennia, shapes the Tampa Museum of Art show that catches the modern eye. Cool. Who knew Poseidon was going to be relevant today? So what you have here is an article from 2014 from the Tampa Bay Times in St. Petersburg, Florida. I've been there. The article is something that you will need to read if you want to know about it, but there's a few tools that are really helpful for you. Let's say this article is great. First, you can go up here to the top. You can get a link. So you could send that to somebody else who was looking for that same article. You can save it to your Google Drive down here. Super useful if you want to come back and look at that article again. On the right side, you'll see that it says more like this, so it provides you a few other related articles. Not all of these are going to be the things you're looking for. Major artworks on area's horizon. Well, this is about other things at this art museum. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in Poseidon. So that's one of the things that you'll have to do is use your thinking brain and read what's actually here. So this article, let's say that this article is super useful to me. So when the original article had photos in it, that's cool. Okay. So at the very bottom, a couple things here. First, there is a citation. You can copy this citation if you scroll down to the bottom of the article, just like there was one at the bottom of World Book. You can also up at the top, and this is usually a floating little menu, you'll see this little cite thing appears. You can pull that up at any point in the article. So let's say you don't read the whole thing because the piece of information you need was just in one paragraph, the second paragraph in. Great, cite your article. You've got it. So I'm going to select this and copy this by clicking it correctly because, you know, I've got skills. Okay, I got to do Control-C, guys. My computer's being tricky. I'm going to come back over to my MyBib tab, which I still have open. I'm going to add another citation. This was already cited for me, so I'm going to paste it again using, there we go. And now I've got 3 sources in my project. I'm feeling super cool right now, you guys. Love it. So that's how you can cite an article. And you'll notice this is a much different citation. It's a lot longer because it includes which publication, when it was published, what, you know, what page it's on sometimes in some cases, and then how we accessed it digitally. All right. So that's how you can cite things from those 2 databases. So I highly recommend you start your research there. Okay. The third place to go is Theoi.com. So let's get to there. Theoi.com. Thanks, Google, for remembering. Okay, I played around on the site earlier, and it's super amazing. So, you know, like, whoever built the site is like a super fan. And they have my respect. So, Poseidon. All right, so I'm going to search this website in here. So you can see it looks a lot like a Google search, but they really are pulling content from within here because you'll notice all of the search results have their own address. So they're using a Google search algorithm that searches their specific content. So, oh, the cult, ancient Greek religion. Okay, so sorry, the word cult in there got me interested. Oh, excuse me. Okay, we'll cover up your privates there, Poseidon. So here's another article. So now this is a website, right? The person who created this website could come in and edit this tomorrow. It could have been edited before I read it. So somebody else used the same source last year and it said something different in some part of it. Wow, there's a lot here. Like I said, this person has my respect. So this article here, I've got just a web address for. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And then I'm going to come back over to MyBib. I'm going to add a citation now for a website. They asked me to paste my URL right here. And then what it is doing is it's searching for that website and checking it right here, okay? You'll notice it says proceed with caution, okay? So there's no authors listed on these documents. Just like our databases have authors, these are people on the internet who have made this. And anonymity doesn't necessarily lead to accurate information. But we're telling you can trust the site. So, cool, got it. Okay, so now I need to generate my citation. So I'm going to click on this. So it showed me where it was. It says, we couldn't detect the web page author. Does it have a web page author? Let's go look. Because honestly, I don't know. So I'm going to look down at the bottom. That seems like the kind of place where it might be. Oh, hey. There, Aaron J. Atsama, and he's got a copyright on it. He does have an author. So I'm going to highlight this with skill, you guys. And then I have no, I'm not going to highlight it with skill, apparently. I should have just typed it. Okay, now I have an author. Does this page have a web page author? Yes, it does. Oh, I have to type it anyway. Aaron Atsama. Okay, and I want to make sure I spell his name right because that's a cool name. Atsma. See, I added an extra letter. Atsma. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to click next. So now I've got an author there. So here's the date that this article was published, sometime in 2017. I don't know anything about it. But here, you'll notice you need to put the date that you access the source. So I'm going to click today. The website name, the publisher, he's got a copyright on it, but it's not published by anybody. It's just, you know, a website that he built. So, contact us. Maybe I'll contact this person, learn more about it. So anyway, now I've got a lot of information from this site right here. I've got an author for it, which is pretty cool. And now I'm going to save this. So now I have a new citation. It gives the web address and when I got it and who the person is who wrote that content. Okay, so that's one of the important things that you can do. Let's say you want to add a citation for an image that you found. So back on this Theoi.com, I found this. I think this is a cool picture and I want to use this in my project. So this is still a web piece of information. So you'll notice that there's some information in here about it, which is good. You'll probably want to reference that, add that annotation in your bibliography, but when you right click on the image, you can open it in a new tab. So then you have a tab that has just the image in it, which is a website, right? I can copy and paste that web address in a different page and it will take me to that image. So this is just web content. That it's a picture isn't really any different. So if I were going to cite that image, I'd go back to website citation in my bibliography. I'm going to search for it. You'll see that right here, it's like, oh dear, what is this? And I go, I can tell you a little more about it. And this is where you're going to need to use your brain and say, look, I've got some more information that's here. So I can cite that this exists on the web and when I accessed it. And then, so I'm going to say no, because it doesn't say who the artist is. And I guess I could give the credit to, my same guy here, Aaron Atsma. But let's say I say no, it doesn't have an author because he's just got his web address stamped on it. So you'll see if I can put the name in there, I can put the title of the article now from here. So it's attributed to the Crocotus group of the Liegros group. So, and the title of it was Poseidon Riding Hippocamp. So this is a case where you would have to manually fill in a lot of this information in here. Oops, sorry, wrong tab. That is still worthwhile to do if you're going to use that image so that people know where you got it from. Look around your room. How many of you have made a meme? Okay, so you know that you can take an image and misappropriate it and add content to it and turn it into your own work. This is why it's important to do that research about where your image came from, especially for something like this. Last thing you might want to do is you may end up using a book. Okay, so the thing that books are awesome for are pictures where you actually know what they're from. So, like, let's say I want to include this rather, horrifyingly anatomically correct statue of Poseidon in my project here, and so I would like to cite this book. So the easiest thing to do is use the ISBN number. So I'm going to go ahead, excuse me, go back. I'm going to cite a book, and you'll see here it says use the ISBN. So I'm going to look for that by opening my book to the copyright page. And you'll see that, well, can you see everybody? That number is in there. So I'm looking at the copyright page, and I'm going to see if I can look for it right down here. Okay, let's find out. There's a couple different editions of this. 9780. This is good. 9780. Big long number. 495. 09. 307-7. Let's see if I can find it. So I'm going to search. What do you know? This is the book. Check it out. Look at the cover. And then look at the cover. It's the one, you guys. So it's the 2009 one. Let's see. Is it? It is. All right. This is the book. Oh, it's credible. How nice. So here you'll see that it's got the same details that's available. If there's more to this, I can look through this. Some of your books, especially for images like this, are not going to have multiple editions necessarily, so some of this will be extra. And then that's going to be the way that I can cite that book. I've cited the book now, and now I know if I want to include the specific image, I can put on there what that page was, which, I just joyfully flipped away from. in my fervor for waving the book around in the air. So that was like page 1 was page 123. So I'm going to cite the page number right there. And now I'll click save. And then right there, there's my book right there. Page 123. Got it. All right, you guys. So that's the basics for how you would build this bibliography. So using a bunch of different sources. So when you're all done, you're going to download it. This is going to give you an editable copy of your bibliography so that you can use it, adjust it, and put it into whatever product you're creating. Okay, so here's how you do this. Download your works cited right up here in the right side. Download works cited, and you'll see you've got a bunch of different formats. You can save it to your Google Drive. You can save it as a Word document, email it, print it. You can get a link for it. I'm going to put it in my Google Drive. I'm just curious. So yeah, love to allow that. I'm going to say yes to all those things. And then it's thinking really hard. And it celebrates for me because I've saved it. And it's in my Google Drive as MyBib, Myths of Awesome. So I can go to my drive and find that. Let's check it out. Should be in there recent. Look at this. Thinking hard. Myths of Awesome as a Google Doc. Gotta love it, you guys. So the final thing that's part of making a bibliography like this, stand back, put your hands on your hips, take a deep breath, look around, nodding knowingly, because you did a great job. All right, here's your proof that you should be taken seriously and that you know what you're talking about. Thanks for learning with me today, guys. Have a great time.